Charging batteries can be a pain in the butt and just downright confusing, especially if you have a lot of these 1S batteries. And the process for most of us is very similar, using these 1S chargers that came with your ViFly or RTF kits. If you're lucky, you might have one with 4 ports. But really, who has time to charge one battery at a time? Or maybe you want to put your batteries into storage for next season's flying. Well, unfortunately, these chargers are just not gonna cut it. Luckily for us, ViFly has a perfect solution for our 1S charging needs. So today we're taking a look at the WhoopStor 6-channel charger, and this might be the perfect companion for your 1S batteries. Okay, so here's the box right here. Pretty straightforward. It says ViFly with the WhoopStor on here and a picture of the charger itself. On the side here, it does have just the website, viflydrone.com, so you can go to the website, take a look at that. And the bottom here, you just have a sticker of the actual charger, and then some specs here, which we'll talk about very shortly. All right, so pretty straightforward, small box here. I got my unboxing knife here, just one tamper-proof seal right here. Get that open. And let's take a look at this. Oh, pretty nice. All right, so ViFly with a thank you note. That's pretty nice of them to say that. And then it looks like you have an instruction manual here. Besides that, let's take a look at this. You have a charger here. Looks like a USB-A to USB-C. So maybe they know something that most people have a USB-C charger. And yeah, in fact, today we'll be using that. So that's pretty cool. Here's the charger. Let's get this thing out. Ooh, really nice. All right, so let's take a closer look at this charger. And the first thing that jumps out at me are these 6 ports right here. These are the BT 2.0 ports, which is, made kind of popular from beta FPV. Pretty cool ports. They're almost like a smaller XT30 port. And a lot of people say they have really good performance. So these batteries might get more and more popular in the future. On the side here, you also have 6 ports as well, and these are your PH 2.0 ports, which is pretty much the standard for 1S batteries. Now, the first thing you might think is that this is a fancy parallel board, but the honest truth is that this is actually a 6-channel charger, which is pretty awesome because most of the chargers in the market for your traditional LiPo batteries have either 1 or 2 channels. So to have 6 channels on here, that's a huge deal, guys. That's a game changer. Now, you're probably saying, what's the big deal? Who cares? It's just 6 ports, whether it be parallel charging or 6 channels. Well, there's a huge difference, guys. Usually with a parallel board, you have to charge batteries of the same cell counts, and they have to be usually around the same voltage. For example, I have 3 sets of batteries right here. They're all 1S batteries, so that's pretty cool. The big difference here is the voltage of the batteries. Let's say, for example, I did some flying. I flew one all the way down to 3.5 volts, and I flew one halfway, let's say 3.8 volts. Usually that difference in voltage will be a big deal for a parallel charger. In this case, because we have 6 separate channels, we can plug different batteries at different voltage, and they'll all charge at the same time. Each port will regulate its specific battery. It's a huge difference, guys. A big difference and a really good convenience. Now, the second thing that catches my eye is this small LED screen here, and that will show information pertaining to the battery and its charging state. So pretty cool. Let's just take this screen protector off. It's nice that they have that on there. Now, below the screen, you have a start, stop, and current set button. So to start and stop, you press and hold the button. And to change your current, you just press and you can change your current. And we'll talk about that later once we connect a battery or power source to this charger. To the left of the button, you have a switch that lets you select between a LiPo and a lithium high voltage battery. So 4.35 or 4.2 for LiPo batteries. Most of your 1S batteries are usually high voltage, so 4.35, but consult the battery and the manufacturer before selecting your voltage here. Below that, you have a full and a storage button here, or switch. And that's one of the biggest things about this charger. Usually in the past, as I said before, most of these chargers can charge your battery to capacity, but none of them can bring your battery to storage voltage. Now, why is that important? This helps slow down the degradation of the battery and prolongs the battery life for a longer period of time. If you ever notice, whenever you buy a battery for your drones, it's usually around 3.79 or 3.8 voltage. And the manufacturers know this because these batteries could potentially sit on the shelves of these retailers for weeks or months at a time. So it has to be at the most stable voltage. This feature alone is worth the price of the charger, guys. This is a game changer. Now come to the side here, you have the 3 ports here, and this is how you're gonna supply your charger with electricity. Now we have 3 options here. You have a DC port here, which is a barrel plug, and that's gonna supply power to the charger. Then you also have a XT60 port, which is the option I'll be using today, and this supports anywhere between a 2 and a 5S battery. I really wish it did support 6S, so if you're out in the field, you're flying, you can use a large XT60 6S battery and charge all your batteries multiple times in one trip. Besides that, you also have a USB-C port, which is pretty awesome because most of us, as I said before, have a USB-C cable or a USB-C charger. Now the catch here is that this thing only supports 9 to 12 volts. Now that's important because most of your chargers, like this cell phone brick here, supplies only 5 volts. So although it may charge your cell phone fast, 5 volts is not gonna work. Now we're gonna work around that because we do have some other options here. I do also have a similar charger. They're very identical, but if you look closer at the specs on here, you'll see that this one does support it. Now if you have a smart charger that's relatively modern, you'll see that this one does support 5 volts as well as 9 volts. So this technically should work. Okay, so let's try to power this up and see how this thing works. The method I'm gonna use first is gonna be the USB-C method, only because I'm curious and most of us have these little brick chargers. So I have my charger here and a cable. All right, it's booting up. Version 1.08, that's the version of the firmware. USB in, ready to download. Okay, so can I clear this? Let me try the iPad one. The iPad has a little bit more amps. All right, let's try this one here with this brick. That's interesting. So I use my charger for my cell phone, and although it does provide both 9 volts and 5 volts, maybe the amp wasn't high enough. It does provide 9 volts at 1.6 amps. This one here is over 2 amps easily. So yeah, it's fluctuating, guys. You can see the voltage between 8.9 and 9 volts. And it does show the amp, I was correct, 0.2 amps. So pretty nice. If I change this down, it should go to 4.2, which it did do. Pretty nice. Put it back to 4.35. And then it says charge. And then it says store charge when I change it. So I can do either storage charge or full charge. And it shows everything on this screen. I mean, what more could you ask for? Let's see how this thing works with one battery here. I'm just gonna charge one and see how it works. So plug this in here, and I'm sure this is gonna show voltage, which is pretty cool, guys. It does show the current battery voltage. We are using port number 6 here, or channel number 6 here, and it does show it right here, 4.18 volts. Now, one thing to know here is that this is a 6-channel charger, although you see 12 ports on here. You can only charge using 1 port per channel at a time, meaning I can use channel 6 and charge BT 2.0 or PH 2.0, and the same for the other channels as well. You can't charge both channel 6, BT 2.0 and PH 2.0 at the same time. At that same manner, these things are live. I almost touched one right here. So when you are charging, all of the channels are powered, so you can't really isolate one channel from the other. So to change your current setup, you can just hit this button right here and you can change the amperage. Now I'm using this brick right here and I can charge up to 0.6 amps or 600 milliamp hours. If I was using the XT60, this thing goes up to 0.9 amps or 900 milliamps. So just remember that if you are using the USB-C versus an XT60. So since this is a 300 milliamp hour battery, I'll be using 0.3 amp, and I can just hit this button here, press and hold, and it will start charging. And it's pretty cool. This red light here comes on so I can see that this battery here is charging. So we can stop it here. I am going to change the amp a little bit higher, do a 2C charge. Now, this feature of changing the amperage is really awesome, guys. Why is that cool? Because these regular chargers here, They're set to a certain amperage, you know, whether it's high or low, you can't change it. Your battery is the one that's going to be changing. Typically you want to charge at 1C or 1 times the capacity of your battery. So if I'm charging this battery right here, I would go at 300 milliamp 1C or 0.3 amps. Now, because I can't regulate the current flow on these, it might charge at 2C, 4C, 5C. Now the opposite is true. If I have a larger battery, so here is a 450 milliamp hour battery. If it's set to a certain value on the charger, this might take more than an hour to charge. It might charge at 0.5C and then take 2 hours to charge just on one battery. So it works with the USB-C port. I have an XT60 battery here. I'm gonna plug this in and see how this thing works as well. All right. Pretty straightforward, really fast actually. It's faster with the battery here. Now it says I have 16 volts, and then let's see if I can change the charging output. And sure enough, I can go to 0.9 amps, which is the maximum charging capacity of this charger. Let's do a storage and see what happens here. So I'm gonna plug this stick battery in here. I'm at 4.29. It is a pretty cool battery checker. And then let's go to storage. Storage charge, ready, start. So that's pretty cool. So it's now gonna bring this battery down to its recommended 3.8 volts and put it into storage mode. And you can see the LED light here is a little bit different. It's yellow. Wow, this is amazing, guys. So let's just stop this because we don't wanna do that. Now, what I'm gonna do here, guys, also is what I said earlier. This is not a parallel charger. This is actually a 6-channel charger. So we have batteries of different voltage, different capacities. This is not recommended if you have a parallel charger or a parallel board. But since this is a 6-channel charger, it really doesn't matter. It's gonna take care of everything. So I'm charging here at 0.9 amps. I don't want to do that because we have some small ones here, we have some big ones here. What we're gonna do here is just change this to around 0.5. That should be good for all of them, and that's pretty cool. Now this amperage here is per channel, so each channel will give you 0.5 or 0.9, maximum of 0.9 amps, which is amazing again. So let's hit the start button and see what happens. They're all charging, guys. So this will be a scenario where you're putting the most strain or most load on this actual charger, guys. So this might create some heat or generate some heat, but look, it's doing a really good job. All right, so I have one of my batteries here approaching the 4.35 volts. Let's gonna see if this is gonna change color. It's probably at this point trickle charging in that thing and just giving it oh, there it is. It went out. So it doesn't turn green or anything. It just goes out. The light goes out. So this one, oh wow, and it says okay here as well. Holy cow. Yeah, let's just hit stop. Guys, this is great. I can take this anywhere in the field if I'm flying, and I can charge 6 batteries at a time. All right, guys, so having tested this and seen the function of this charger, who is this charger for, guys? I'd say one, guys, if you're a new pilot in the hobby and you have some batteries that came, you know, with your drone and you have the stock charger, this charger here is for you, guys. It's a no-brainer. It's a smart charger. It gives you telemetry, it gives you everything, the status of your battery, the current amperage, you know, the selection to choose either, you know, high voltage or regular LiPo batteries, and you can put it into storage. So really cool charger here, guys. Really cool charger. The second person this is for is a pilot like me, maybe a little bit more experienced pilot, but then I have tons and tons and tons of 1S batteries around. I actually got this charger because of the ability to charge 6 batteries at a time and the fact that I can store them. But yeah, I was just tired of charging 4 at a time. So if I can charge 6 or 8, that's great. My efficiency is gonna go up dramatically, guys. I can charge them faster. And yeah, no issues there. I have no concern about my house burning down because this thing is a really smart charger. I can charge at the rate that I want. Now the last pilot this might be for is if you're living in a climate where there's seasons and you have flying seasons. Maybe you can't fly your drones year round. Maybe you're going on a trip. You want to put your batteries into a storage voltage where it's the most stable. Maybe you go on a plane, you go on a trip. You don't want to have your batteries at full charge. Then yes, this might be the best thing for you. Put this thing into storage mode and it will put all your batteries to the right voltage for longevity and for storing, guys. So really good on ViFly for making this charger. Now this is the second iteration of this. The first one was okay. They had some issues with fit and fitment of these plugs on here, as well as charging voltage, but this one here is their version 2. And yeah, guys, if you did buy a V1, they will replace it for you if you do have a V1 with some issues on there. So let me know what you think about this ViFly charger. Is this something that you might consider getting for around 30 bucks? Yeah, it's really good. You get efficiency, safety in one, guys. Now, if you're interested in the 1S batteries and you're kind of curious to see what drones can be flown on 1S batteries, I've done a few videos on these drones. These are some of my best 1S drones. I'll leave those videos linked right here so you can take a look at it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.